you and thank the entire SMWW staff for putting this together. I love doing Doc Talks. Our company's 30 years old, and I've been teaching 55 years, and I'm thrilled when we do a Doc Talk with some of our guests and faculty members. And this is all about you and how we help you get paid for your passion. And Alexa, I just want you to know I'm wearing my Kansas City shirt today because I go back to name my son Brett after George Brett, and I still remember the pine tar incident. I don't think you were born yet, but it's a rivalry, and I never get tired of it. But Alexa, I'm more excited than ever to have this interview with you. I'm so proud of your story, and I'm just proud of your success. And thank you for joining us today.
Of course, it's a
Yeah.
pleasure seeing you and being able to chat with you, and I'll forgive you for the Kansas City Royals
Yeah,
shirt.
okay. Alexa, we always start our doc talks with assuming you went to high school. Tell us your story. Walk us through it because it's an inspiration to all of us.
Absolutely. So, um, I'm a New York native, born and raised on Long Island. From a pretty young age, my story was, I'll say in my mind, pretty set. I knew I wanted to work in sports. Going to sporting events with family members. I was probably a young teen, I'll say 10 to 13 years old, at a sporting event with my dad and kind of asked him, hey, how does that company get out there? How do they end up where they are in the outfield? My dad, not knowing anything about the world of sports, pretty much just told me I have no idea, just watch the game. And I said, well, that's what I want to do when I get older. And I'm not really sure I knew what that meant back then, but here I am, and I kind of couldn't be happier, really couldn't be happier with where I am and all the steps that I took to get here.
Yeah. What happened after high school? Tell us your story.
Absolutely. So after high school, I went to Concordia College, which is a small private school in Westchester. Um, Very small college. I wanted to stay local to New York. Had internships in high school, part-time jobs in high school that really were all related to working in sports. I worked for an independent baseball team in the box office, so doing game day ticket sales, will call player tickets. But for me, that was really just a way to kind of get familiar with the sports lingo, understand what happens behind the scenes, and that was really my peek behind the curtain at such a young age. In college, same thing. I had internships during winter break, took advantage of any time that I could just to kind of again get that experience,
Yeah.
understand some of the terms that were used, what the nature of working in sports really meant. And then during college, I took a sport management worldwide class, which was one of the greatest things that has been on my resume since taking that class, and a great opportunity for me to have that and recommend it for people all the time. Had an internship with the Brooklyn Cyclones my third year of college. Was able to graduate college a year early. Ended up taking advantage of that opportunity as well, which my family was very happy with as well. So ended up interning for the Brooklyn Cyclones, and in March of my senior year of college, they had a full-time role that was open. And even though I was still in college, I ended up I was being offered the position. So I worked full-time while finishing college. I worked Thursday, Friday in Brooklyn, Thursday, Friday, Saturday in Brooklyn from March to May. And then I went to school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and would drive down to Brooklyn from Westchester, worked right from there in the office, and then I graduated college on a Saturday in May and started working full time on Monday, and haven't stopped since.
And how did you end up where you are today?
So I was with the Brooklyn Cyclones for 3 years. From there, I was offered a job with the New York Yankees in partnerships. So I worked here for almost 5 years. Worked my way up in the partnership department. Was kind of at my max here at that time. So I was offered a role with Brooklyn Sports and Entertainment. So working for Brett Yormark and his team. Great opportunity for me at the time. Loved it, learned a ton from him and all of my former bosses there. Was there for a couple of years. Some ownership changes, some other venue changes happened there. COVID obviously hit as well. And then the end of 2021, I was offered an opportunity to come back to the New York Yankees to run the activation department, which is what I'm doing now. And it was the best decision and move that I've made.
You know, Alexa, growing up in Kansas City, this company was found. I found it when after the Jerry Maguire movie, How to Be a Sports Agent, and we hit the ground running. And that was 30 years ago. The second course we started was this ticket course, this sales and marketing. And I remember with Brett Polverosa and Tom Light. But I've always said, in our motto in our company, you have to have a ticket to the game to catch a foul ball. And I did catch 13 foul balls in the old A's Stadium back then, back when Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris. I even got Roger Maris's autograph. But I've always said that sports management worldwide were available in 1966 when I graduated from high school. I think I would have taken the course and worked for the Royals and still be happy and still be selling tickets if I may. And when I say sell tickets, explain to our audience the big business of baseball, and it's not tickets, it's so much servicing in such an exciting way. You can go from there to anywhere in the organization. Just talk about your role, your day, and what it's like to work in Major League Baseball. A lot of people are wondering how they can do it, and I think you're an inspiration. So kind of walk us through what a day's like for you now with the Yankees.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So, a day for me, with the Yankees, again, I run our activation team. So, work in our corporate partnerships. I report directly to our SVP of partnerships, who's been with the organization for 20 plus years. So, from my end, I have a team of five that report into me. We, as a team, manage around 140 of our corporate partners. My day can start pretty early. I always say my phone is pretty much 24/7. I deal with all of our corporate partners. If there's issues, we do all of our hospitality
Yeah,
during games. So that's suites, legends tickets, alumni appearances, off-site events. We plan spring training trips. We plan in-season trips with
yeah,
partners. So it's not just what you see when you come to the stadium. And I always tell people, coming to the stadium, you're watching the game, the players on the field are just 1% of what happens here. And
right.
even what I do what we do is a small percentage of everything that goes into this holistic business that we're running. We're running a business. It's a sports team to many people. It's something fun. It's great to watch, but we are a business. We have a business to run and to maintain. So a lot of what I do again is working with our partners, making sure that we're fulfilling our contractual obligations for 2025, also for 2026. Right now, I have a client sending us their campaign for 2026 to get working on that. They want to, shoot content over the next couple of weeks
Right,
here to then
right.
use it for next year. So
Yeah,
we're doing everything with our partners, the back and forth with them,
yeah,
whether it's T-Mobile, Ford,
yeah,
Bank of America. So it's a lot of
yeah,
building relationships. And that's what I always tell
yeah,
people. A lot of what I do is building
yeah,
relationships. You want to have the positive relationship built with clients where you can talk about the good stuff, talk about,
yeah,
you want to catch up, you want to talk about the partnership, but then there's also those bad calls you have to make that inevitably they happen. And unfortunately, it's part of the business and it's part
yeah.
of what we do. So I always say building those relationships so that you can make that negative call sometimes.
Yeah, that's Jim Van Dam, your Van Dam, you're from the Indianapolis Colts, who also co-teaches this class that you're going to be teaching as our new instructor. But to be honest with you, there's all sports out there: basketball, football, baseball, hockey. Talk a little bit about why you like baseball, not over the others, but why you enjoy baseball. I mean, there are times they travel, so it's a different animal. Talk about working in baseball versus other sports.
Yeah, so working in baseball is a different beast, and anybody in the industry will say that. I work 81 home games and hopefully more. Other sports, I have friends that work for, football teams. I won't name
Yeah.
any names, but, they know they work 8 home games a year and that's it.
Yeah.
We have 81 games. We're impacted by weather. It's cold, it's hot, it's raining, we can have
Yeah.
snow. So working in baseball is grueling. A lot
Yeah.
of people will say, I want to work in sports. I want to work for the Yankees. I love the Yankees. I love the Mets. I'm a Red Sox fan. It's not, it's not always, positive and
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff. It's tough. It's grueling. I spend 14, 15 hours here a day sometimes. And, you got to put the work in order to see the
Yeah.
benefits. And I'm a big believer in that. When I was with the Cyclones, first one in, last one out, always. I was big on that. I always wanted to be on top of everything I needed to
Mhm.
do, and that was at a time in my life when that was all I had to focus on
Yeah.
was how can I get to where I want to be. And even now, I mean, I work sometimes 7 days a week,
Right.
continuously
Yeah.
through homestands, and um, it's kind of what you love.
Yeah.
I will say sometimes at home I don't watch baseball. I will, watch some other sports, and even when I watch sports, I'm looking at
Yeah.
things that my eyes can't get away from, whether it's
Yeah.
LEDs or what signage is running, where are they
Right.
putting certain things,
Right.
and my eyes are kind of going towards different things. But
Yeah.
I love watching sports. I love what it means to me growing up playing sports, and I just love the nature of
Right.
being part of a
Right.
team.
Alexa, I know when you came to us, you told my wife Liz you'd love to give back, and that's what you're doing today. I want everybody to know they can type in their question or they can raise their hand and Nick will call upon you because Alexa's here to answer questions when she teaches a class with Jim. You'll get an hour every week to talk to her and ask questions. And Alexa, talk about looking for the next person you hire. What are you looking for? Because I find that from all walks of life, sure, passion for sports. But it's a lot of opportunity working in sports. I've never done anything else since I played catch with my dad at 5 years old. I'm 76, if I may, but I still love sports. I love doing doc talks. I love our company. I love helping kids every day. But let's talk about what you look for when you're going through the hiring range.
Yeah, so for me, I'm looking for those intangible assets that I see in a candidate. A lot of people focus on what they graduated with, their GPA, all the special courses they took and stuff. For me, I want to be able to sit across the table from someone, feel comfortable, feel that I can trust them, and it's a lot to put on someone in a quick, 30, maybe you get a 45-minute interview with someone if you're
Yeah,
lucky. But, for me, my gut feeling, I can tell within the first minute of meeting someone if they're going to have it.
yeah,
I want someone that is comfortable communicating, can sit across the table from me, make eye contact, comes prepared. Sometimes it's
right.
the simple things that can rule a candidate out for me. And consider me a little bit old school, but printed resumes, bringing a pen,
Yeah,
just little things that I look for that mean a lot to me.
yeah, yeah,
So it's those, and again, it's intangible. It's work ethic,
yeah,
time management skills. If I
yeah,
can tell from the way that you talk about, your college experience
yeah,
or current job, it's time management skills, it's communication, it's building trust, it's communication. It's,
yeah,
a lot of what we
yeah,
do too isn't over email, picking up the
right,
phone, going to talk to someone, and
right.
you'd be surprised. I mean, people don't feel comfortable doing that. It's
Yeah.
it's surprising, but you need to have that comfort to be able to express
And
what's
Alexa, we don't, I mean, I think, I'm a sports management professor, but that's not the only requirement. It's not even necessary. There's people that are really good at sales that have never been in the ecosystem of sports. And I know that attracts you too, is skill sets and resumes. I always say it's not where you went to school. It's not the degree on the wall that's most important. It's the wall
Mhm.
that's most important. And so talk about some that come with college degrees and some that don't, some that are later in life that want to work in baseball. Talk about the range of people that you get that you've hired over the years.
Yeah, I have people that worked in some have worked in sports, some just started, recent college graduates I
Yeah,
hired that have now been with me for 2.5
right.
years,
Yeah,
first job out of school, which is obviously this is a tough position to
right.
land. But for me, yeah, again, it could be someone that has been selling technology or
Right.
anything that is a skill set, that can I always say I can
Yeah.
teach certain things about the sports world. I can teach you what our assets are. I can teach you
Hmm.
how our assets run, how our signage runs. But what I can't teach is your personality. I can't teach how you communicate and how you talk to somebody.
Yeah.
So if you're good at selling, water bottles and pens and cards, then
Yeah.
we can translate that into
Yeah.
and as you have a passion
Yeah.
for sports and you have a passion for selling, you can
Yeah.
easily have a passion for the Yankees or for the Knicks or the
Yeah.
Rangers or any other team that you're
Right.
looking to work for, an organization. I think just keeping those skills and transferring them. And
Right.
to me, that's the easy
Right.
part. It's those other things that people may not have, the
Right.
skills that I can't teach. And I always say that's the hardest part. So I look for someone, even if you don't have sports experience, it's being able to say that you you have these skills, you're teachable,
Right.
you want to learn, you're here, you're hungry. That's what I need. I always find now interviewing people, there's no hunger and no desire to work. And for
Yeah.
me, that's foreign. I want someone that wants to be here. I want someone that wants
Right.
to work and
Yeah.
learn more. Um, and my thing too is, for people that are just starting off or trying to start in sports, attend every event that you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Network if you have an opportunity to be working or interning.
Right.
Attend
Yeah.
events that are open
Look,
because
let
that's where you
me,
get people.
yeah, Hubert, well, we have a couple questions in here. Let's have some fun here. And again, Alexa, thanks
Got
for
it.
taking the time. I'm excited about working with you.
Of course.
Hubert, come on in, my friend.
How you doing? Great
Good
to
to
meet
have
you,
you in.
Alexa.
Tell them where you're from, Hubert.
I'm in France, SMWW alumni, sports administration, NIL, finishing up the athlete management course and finishing up the sports strategy course.
Do you
Nice.
know
Love your
anything
story,
about
Alexa.
baseball?
Actually, I played a little baseball
Okay.
before basketball, but it's another story.
Okay.
No, I love your story. One thing I wanted to point out is one of the biggest issues for a lot of people getting in sports, they're worried about starting off small. And how important is it to cultivate that small sponsor, that small company in those relationships, even if you're just starting out, if you're a small organization, because overseas, a lot of people are with smaller organizations and not the big names that we all know about.
Yeah. So you mean like securing a small partnership to start?
Small partnership, small sponsor, it might
Yeah.
be a little company, but it's no company is little in my eyes, when you're trying to
Yeah, good
cultivate
Hey,
question,
relationships.
Hubert.
yeah, I agree. So I think, again, the small partnerships, sponsorships, that for someone that's just starting off can be their kickoff to the next big one. You never know when you're gonna be able to secure, let's say, your first six-figure deal or work on a larger partnership. And I think starting off small actually helps a person learn
Yeah.
what um what to do, what to say, how to present yourself, and then as you're doing it, you can kind of tweak and say, okay, now I know for the next time, let me change that. You're learning as you're going in a lot of these instances, at least for our sales team. Sometimes they're always trying to improve. So I don't think there's anything wrong with starting off with a small partnership if
Yeah.
that's your first one that you land, and then using what you've learned about yourself and kind of
Yeah.
self-reflecting on, okay, how did I
Right.
handle these situations? Did I know all the answers to the questions? Did I need to refer to someone else and get back to people? At least now you're able to
Yeah.
use that as your stepping stone to go to the next one.
We have another question, and Hubert, thanks for staying up. We have students from 164 different countries all over the world. Every Sunday for 3 hours, I do this chat just to talk about mentoring and getting people excited about work. But Hubert, thanks for coming in. Thanks for being such a trooper. Let's go to Chris Groman with your introduction and question for Alexa. Chris, thanks for coming in.
Can you hear me? Just making sure.
Yeah, thanks for coming
All
in.
right. Yeah, thank you for taking time out today. Sorry, I'm a big Cleveland fan, so I will say that I actually just did apply for a couple jobs with the Yankees, a associate baseball operations position. I'm currently in the baseball analytics course with Ari
Yeah,
here at Management
yeah,
Worldwide, and I also applied for a financial analyst position. My question to you. I'm like desperate to break into baseball any way I can. So I tend to apply to jobs that either match a skill set or where I want to go.
Mhm.
As somebody who hires for the Yankees, is that like a turnoff if you see someone that's applied to a couple different positions, or do you kind of understand where they're coming from? Would you rather have someone that just like, this is what I want to do and here I am?
Great question. Go ahead, Alexa.
Yeah. No, great question. And obviously good luck. I hopefully, hopefully it works out. I could tell you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the person, and what the job is, and what the skill set required is. So if the skill set is, that the one that you possess is one that's wide, and you feel comfortable that you can do both positions, both jobs. I think depending on the person who's doing the hiring for those roles, they can take it as, he has a wide skill set. Maybe it's multifaceted for someone that comes in. Again, I think that's more of a personal question, or opinion on the person that's doing the hiring. But
Yeah.
for me, I've had people that have applied for activation roles and also sales roles. Obviously, we're two different components of the same department. But again, I've had people that have applied to both, and there are instances where you can kind of merge the two together and maybe
Right.
have a hybrid position.
Right.
So
And let me, Chris, you have a follow up real quickly?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I appreciate the answer, and
Yeah.
like all good talent from Cleveland, we all end up in New York sooner or later. So I hope, you know, see,
Hey,
I want to follow CC Sabathia or
no,
something like
that's
that.
cute.
yes.
Alexa, I do. Before we go to Jake, Nectar Chum, I just want to say I always tell people if you get in the ecosystem, you can cross pollinate. Someday you can go from your department to another department and rubbing elbows. So just getting into the game, if I may, and that's why. Thank you so much. Let's go to Jake, Nectar Chum, with your introduction and question for Alexa. Jake, thanks for coming in.
Hey, how's it going? First off, Dr. Lashbrook, thank you for doing these doc
You
talks.
bet.
I think they're so we gain so much valuable insight, and we get
Thank
to
you.
see what's going on within the industry.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, Alexa, it was great hearing your story. I actually work with the Brooklyn Cyclones currently.
Awesome.
I've been working there for about 2 years. I started out as a clubby, doing 17-hour days, so I know about those long nights and those days sleeping at the clubhouse some weekends. You know how it
Yeah.
gets. Yeah, I love every second of it. I'm doing
Great.
like pitch clock and statistics right now. I'm a stringer. Um, so yeah, I mean, my question for you is just like in these interviews with, front office physicians, what's the most valuable traits that they're looking for?
So, congrats, and say hi to some of my old friends first down in Brooklyn. Give Steve,
Mahoney and Billy Harner. I
give,
got you.
give Steve, Billy, and Ricky. Give them my
Ricky's still there.
best.
Yeah, Ricky works up
Give,
in the press box with me.
give them my best. Again, so for me, it's about you as a person. I think doing the best that you can, and showing where you are right now. So you've been there for 2.5, 3 years, looking for a job. I'm assuming, say a league or a professional team. Again, for me, it's looking for those intangible assets. So, like you just said, working 17-hour days, putting in the time and the effort to advance yourself where you are, improvements, try to get better, doing things like this, taking courses here, I think show your next employer that you want to get better, you don't want to stay stagnant, you want to improve. And again, for me, that's more of what I look for than
Yeah.
sometimes the exact skill set. Because
Yeah.
again, there are things that I can teach. I can teach how we operate. Not every team operates the same. Not every partnership department operates the same. Not everyone is the same. So I can go to another team and have to be taught how they
Yeah.
do their system, their management. But my personality is what's going to take me to the
Yeah.
next level there. My relationships, building those skills.
Yeah.
That's something that's
Yeah.
important for me. So,
Jake,
I would
a
say,
quick follow up before I go to John Fontenot.
Absolutely.
Jake, you have a follow up?
Oh, do I follow? No. No. Thank you so much. It's really interesting to hear that. So I
It's
appreciate you
nice
taking the
of you
time
to
today.
come in. Thank you so much. Let's go to
thank you,
Thank you.
Jake.
John Fontenot with your introduction for Alexa's question.
Hello, thank you, Dr. Lashbrook.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my name's John Fontenot. Very
Fontenot,
Cajun.
excuse me. Okay.
Yeah, so very nice to meet you, Alexa. I'm
Nice
currently
to
in the
meet you.
medical field doing medical research, looking to transfer into baseball operations. And you were talking about like the intangibles and being like sitting in front of someone trying to know like how they are and how they're going to work with. And I know the long hours too, with because medical field, first responder background. I've those those shifts can be long. But my question is trying to get to the face-to-face part of the interview process or application process. There has to be so many hoops to jump through to even get there. How do you stand out in those rounds of job applications to even get to the face-to-face
Yeah.
meetings?
Good question. Go ahead, Alexa.
Yeah, great question. Great question. I know that's sometimes half the battle and seems like it's very far to reach, but when you're going through the interview process, say you have an interview with HR and you're doing the screening process, a big thing for me is do your research. Everyone on this phone, on this Zoom right now sits on their phone scrolling for hours every day. You're on the train every day, you're commuting. Do your research. If you have an interview
Yeah,
coming up, if you're meeting with an HR person, just look where have they been, what are they doing, and if you're
absolutely.
interviewing with a team, you're interviewing with a league, just Google some recent news.
Yeah,
Google, for a team, for me, it's you can Google any team, look at their partners, look up a
yeah,
picture of what their current
absolutely.
partners are, and just know like, oh, they're Ford. So if I mention something with Ford in my interview, they're gonna know I pay attention.
Yeah,
Um, and I think, doing that in those HR interviews is what gets you to the
yeah,
next level. That's
yeah,
what gets you that in person with the
yeah,
actual hiring manager of that role, because that's what the
yeah,
HR person is looking for. They want to make sure, A, the person seems like they can make it to the next round.
yeah,
They're educated, they answer the phone, they're speaking back,
yeah,
they're having a conversation, and they have a little bit of
yeah,
knowledge about the
yeah.
organization.
Alexa, it's interesting you say that. Even at my stage in life, I always link in before I make that phone call. Somebody I've never met before. I love to know where they went to school. It just works. It warms up. It warms up the lead. I also wanted to bring up real quickly. First of all, John, anything else before I go to Gabe? No.
Yes. So yeah, thank you for answering. I
Yeah,
applied to that associate of baseball operations job, and yeah, I'm
good
just
job.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then I wanted to tell you, Alexa, one of our secret sauce, I give my wife all the credit for this. We do informational interviews, go back to LinkedIn, and then we interview people and ask for 10 minutes. And we say, Alexa's our instructor, Dr. Leisberg's our instructor. And all we ask is, I saw your background. What's your challenges today? The second question is, where are you heading career-wise? People love to answer that question. And then you simply say, thank you. And you say, is there anybody else I should interview? And Alexa, 9 out of 10 times, somebody gives a referral because they did such a nice job and they get another interview. Maybe it's with the Mets. And then we send a Starbucks gift card and thank them. And we professionalize those informational interviews. And I'm so proud of that. But I'm more proud of our faculty, including you. And we're going to have some fun here. Let's go to Gabe Vaughn with your introduction. Gabe, welcome in.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me.
Good.
Um,
Good to see you, Gabe.
just a quick introduction of where I'm at. I just finished up my season as the stats and play-by-play broadcast guy with the Vallejo Seaweed of the Pecos League of Professional Baseball Clubs, and I think that was an area where I was successful in.
Yeah.
They really liked my voice on air, and they want me to keep going. But I'm still kind of focusing on like the wide range of everything, including front office roles that could translate to, or just moving
And
up in
what's
a
your
broadcast
question,
booth.
Gaber?
Yeah. I just wanted to ask, I got a couple things. First, when you're like in the process of, it could be a job application or your interview, when you're trying to make a first impression on a potential employer, how do you do that? Like you're coming across basically as someone who's clearly got their eyes on that first role, even if it's low level, and not sounding overly eager to move up because that's such a red
Good
flag,
question.
but also maintaining just, I guess you could call it a personality aspect where they know you could potentially be just the right guy to be a decision maker years on down the road, because I mean they're looking for prospects in those
Yeah,
off
let's
roles.
go.
Like,
Let's let. I think it's a great question. Thank you, Gabe, and good to see
yeah.
you, Gabe. Alexa, your thoughts on that? I think it's a good question.
Yeah. So I think, obviously, if you you're looking to get hired, say entry level, the person who's hiring you knows your goals, knows, or at least knows you're here for entry level to start. You want to progress. There's obviously natural progression in everyone's career. For me, coming off too eager can be a little bit of an issue with certain employee or
Yeah.
employers. For me, just actions that shows what you can do and what you can become. So I always say, just let your work show for you. Let your work do the talk. Obviously the time will come for you, for a person to have the conversation with their boss about promotion and more money, what everyone wants, and the
Yeah.
next title. But for me, I always think your work will be recognized when you're at the right place, you're working with the right people, and you're doing the work that everyone is recognizing. I think you will get recognized without having to ask for anything.
Yeah. Gabe, thanks for your question. Alexa, my question follow up is cross pollination other industries. How often do you talk to other colleagues of yours in different parts? I'm always fascinated in sport. We do the basketball summer league, we did the NHL, the virtual draft. We'll be at the MLB winter meetings. I'm always fascinated with the cross pollination, even though they're different sports and different nuances. There's a lot of similarities. Your comment on that?
Absolutely. The sports world is a huge universe, but a very small world. The amount of times I interact with partners that I worked with when I was with Brooklyn Sports and Entertainment and doing hockey, basketball, and concerts still have, and now I work here back with the Yankees and we have the same partners and I'm dealing with the same
Right.
people, or people work from, they go from one brand to another brand and now they're your contact at another brand. The cross pollination between partners and friends in the industry that I rely on, even outside of, the league and the teams, whether it's agencies that represent, whether it's brands again, the cross pollination and the conversations that I have constantly with other people in the industry is constant. I mean, it's helpful for me. It's helpful for other people just to bounce ideas off of and talk through issues that come up.
Alexa, I've been a professor 55 years. I left higher ed and tenure at 30 years old. I really wanted to create a company that worked on placement as much as teaching the skill sets. I also feel that the best instructors in our company are people that are industry leaders. They don't all have a doctorate in kinesiology. I think sometimes kids come away with degrees and masters, like that's a step up. Your comment on that without being critical, but I really look people in the eye. There's a lot of people that don't have a college degree that are really good in your industry. Talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. To me, a master's degree doesn't make a person stand out more. Again, that's, more my personal opinion, but
Yeah,
I always tell people the hands-on experience is more impactful um,
yeah,
than the book studies sometimes. You can only learn
yeah,
so much from a textbook. You need to really be out there, be in the field, especially for what we do. Like you
yeah,
said, even a college degree might not be necessary. It's all about
yeah,
communication
yeah,
skills, personality, and just
yeah.
having that knowledge. So
Right. Let's go to Clarence Jones, one of my favorite students that comes in my chat every week. Clarence, come in with your introduction and question. Thanks for coming in, Clarence.
Clarence Jones, Albuquerque, New Mexico, copywriter, customer service rep. I got to start this off with saying go Braves 2021 champs. Thanks, Doc. Thanks, Alexa. So I got two questions. My first question is as a sales rep for the Yankees, how does your sales department work with companies that sell tickets as well, like big companies like StubHub,
Good question.
Ticketmaster, SeatGeek, Vivid Seats? Is it more like a partnership or is it more a competition?
I love that question. Go ahead, Alex. I can learn from this one. Thanks, Clarence.
Yes, sir.
So the partnerships team doesn't have a direct relationship with any of those companies, but every team, including the Yankees, has a relationship with a third-party ticketing website.
Right.
So the Yankees do have a working relationship with StubHub, and our back end we are a Ticketmaster organization. So every MLB team has a different ticketing platform that runs their services. We do have a relationship with StubHub. You will see signage for StubHub at the stadium if you watch games, if you're here. So for us, it's not really a competition. They're in the business just like us. And,
Yeah.
it's not like it was, I'd say, 15, 20 years ago when, they were seen more as a competition. Now, I think all the teams and the leagues have found a way to work with them.
Yeah, it's a good point. Clarence, your next question.
Thanks. Okay, so in what ways, as a New York Yankees sales rep, because I know there's goals that these reps got to make, but when fans are buying their tickets from Vivid Seats, SeatGeek, Ticketmaster, and StubHub, how's it possible for me to still make my goals for sales?
Good question.
Yep. So for ticketing again, it's a whole different world. So, from my end, I can't answer on how a ticket rep will, kind of choose, how to they make their goal based on third party websites. But again, from my end, from a partnership standpoint, corporate partners, there's really no downside in people buying tickets on those websites from my end.
Thank you, Clarence. And Lex, I have to ask a question now more and more than ever. A small company, a party, an office party, whatever. Talk a little bit about how important it is on these group sales, if I may, different events, because I'm fascinated with the state. We go up to Seattle when the Royals are in town. I was just in Angel Stadium a few nights ago, but every stadium has their own amenities, if I may. But it's pretty fascinating what's going on at a stadium now. Talk about that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, coming to Yankee Stadium, we have, we hold just about 50,000 people a night. We have suite level. We have our Legend Suite Club, which is again, which is the first 9 rows of the stadium, all inclusive. It's our most premier part of the stadium, and then we have all different entitlement areas that include different aspects for all different groups, partners that are looking to come out, camps, schools. I mean, you name it. It's just like you said, there's groups everywhere. So our groups team, our premium team, does a great job at selling out as much as they can in advance. We use, obviously promotional nights, which everyone's familiar with. We use those strategically. Our business ops side does a lot of research on picking the right games, forecasting opponents, forecasting, it comes down to days of the week, and who you're playing based, and then they kind of figure out which nights need a little bit more advertising behind it, which night needs a promo night. And it's been obviously coming off of the season we had last year. We've had a great year this year with ticket sales and partners. So it's been great for us. And again, groups it's a huge business. I mean, obviously the tickets is a huge part of sports, and partnerships kind of supports that just as they support us.
I'm anxious for this next answer to this question. The pitch clock, it's a revolutionary device, if I may. I was fascinated several years ago, right after it came in. I forgot that it was on. You don't even notice it anymore. But the quality of life with the pitch clock, not just the fans and not just the players, but I think your position has a quality of life to it. Am I right? It's really changed everything in your world.
Yeah, absolutely. The pitch clock has been tremendous. The ghost runner on second has been tremendous in extra innings. An average baseball game used to be 3.5 hours. When we played Sunday night baseball, we were a little over 4 hours. Not including the 90-minute gates and then time being here before then for activations and setting everything up. The pitch clock to me, what people thought could have had a negative impact on brands and on visibility on TV behind home plate, for everyone in the business has actually been opposite. People tune in more. You're watching more. You're watching more intently because it's 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes. You have that time where you can actually focus versus 81 games are 3.5 hours. That's a lot for someone to commit to. But personally, I love it. My family loves it. It's gotten me home a little bit
You,
earlier on these great game
you
nights.
brought up Ghost Runner. I would think they need to have a reminder in the 10th inning. I sometimes catch myself, how did that guy get on second? I just went to the restroom and came back, and and I'm all frustrated. I still find myself. Mikkel, our career counselor, he's going to come in. He wants to ask you a question, and Mikkel, and then in a little bit we're going to let you go. Are you working tonight?
We don't have a game tonight. We start a homestand tomorrow.
Yeah, it's such a thrill to have you so sincerely dedicated to helping a new generation. And We have students all over the world, but let's take it baseball in Japan and the bilingual, the trilingual, and the AI. I'll talk to you about AI. I'll come to Mikhail, but I do have one question. How has AI impacted your day, if I may?
Uh, it it hasn't impacted our world just yet.
Yeah.
But we're obviously seeing a lot more virtual signage, a lot
Hmm.
more broadcast games on different networks, and
Hmm.
what that kind of does to signage. Again, you see it now, I think, in the NHL. They take over all the boards with
Yeah.
NHL signage. So, I think baseball is a little bit more traditional
Uh-huh.
anyway, so it might be a few more years till we
Yeah.
see a huge impact. But we'll see as what changes as far as the
Yeah.
playing field, and all the stuff that Major League Baseball is dealing with right now with that and the umps, what that kind of changes.
Yeah. Let's go to Mikhail with your introduction. Mikhail's one of our superstar career counselors, and talk to see what Alexa. Go ahead, Mikhail.
Sorry, Alexa.
It's
My
all
bad.
right. I appreciate
I'm
Um,
that.
thinking, he did that on purpose.
I had a client that played for New York City FC, so I had the privilege to watch quite a few soccer games at Yankee Stadium at the Delta Lounge, which is, by the way, was an amazing venue. How does that transition from converting into a soccer field into a baseball going back? Because I actually seen it happening in real life. But then with the partnerships that you guys have, how does that, is there a conflict of interest, or what's your role into that, if you don't mind me asking, if you have any?
Good question, Mikhail.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So our stadium operations team, our grounds crew, our field conversion team, they do an amazing job at transforming the field and the stadium to an NYCFC match. However many times that we have to a season now. For me, it doesn't impact my world. They kind of operate as a third party. They rent the stadium from us, and they play at a few other local stadiums as well, just based on availability. So for me, it's just an added event where some of our signage that actually is installed on the billboards is still present. But besides that, there's really no impact as to far as far as we
Yeah.
go. We have a great working relationship with their front office staff.
Yeah.
Always willing to assist each other with anything, and
Yeah.
great people that work there, and pretty good friends, and
Good.
better.
Good insight. Let's go to Bobby's score, and then I'll let Alexa go, and Mikhail's going to stay around to answer some questions. This has been fun for me, and hope to see you in Orlando at our MLB winter meeting. That's part of the
Yes.
perk and the
Yes.
faculty, because I think that's a crazy place, but and there's a lot of people line up for jobs, but they could learn a lot more from you before they go to the MLB winters. Let's go to Bobby's score with your question. Is Bobby still there? Nick, is Bobby there?
Yeah, I can read his question out loud though.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so Bobby asked, did the MLB efforts to shorten games impact the financial aspects of each organization?
Good question.
Great question. So again, I think, from our perspective, as far as partnerships go, viewership, people attending games, watching games, the shortened games, again, just make it a little bit easier for people of all ages. Maybe
Yeah,
not, the most diehard of fans. People are
right.
tuning in more, people are watching more.
Yeah,
So for us, I can't speak for every organization, obviously, but, for us, with the time clock, we haven't seen any any changes. Again, I think it
right.
makes it a little bit more of an enjoyable
I
event
do
to
too.
attend. It's a little bit shorter, and even watching it again, you're not watching 3.5 hours. It's a
Yeah,
little bit a
yeah.
little bit shorter
You,
for everyone.
Alicia, I'll finish with this real quickly. I was at the World Series when the Royals were playing your friends, the Mets. And I don't know, this game six, I think it was, or game five, but we had a rain shower in the seventh inning. Well, the seventh inning is when there's no beer. And if you smoke, it's something to do, but I don't smoke. And sitting an hour and a half and not be able to have a beer was really, I think they ought to change the rule that if it's in a World Series and it's extra and it rains, we can still serve beer until the game's. I'll never forget
Yeah,
that.
I
Yeah.
yeah. That's a good call.
Yeah. Well, again, I want you to know how much we appreciate your dedication to give back. We're going to love this, and we're going to have students all over the world that you're going to have an influence on. And you've inspired me, and I can't thank you enough for taking the time today. Enjoy your evening, and I'll pass the mic to Mikhail. And Mikhail, you can answer some questions, and we'll see you in a few weeks. And thank you
Thank
so much,
you. Take care.
Alexa.
Have a
God
good night.
bless. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Mikhail, come on in, my friend.
I'm right here.
Okay.
Well, guys, thank you everybody for joining today. We have guys from France coming in, so I know these doc talks does hold a lot of value to all of you guys. So I'm here to answer some questions for you guys regarding your next steps. Some of you may already have taken a course through us. Some of you guys are still thinking about it, and really what I can do is kind of help you guide you in the right direction. If you are interested in, some of you guys are interested in getting a master's degree, a doctorate degree, we do have a CUC program that would be, we'd love to have to send you guys some more information on that as well. Any questions? Is it my Dodgers hat? Is that why?
Most definitely is.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I mean, to get in a job in sports, it could be challenging. People say, working in baseball or any sports kind of like a fraternity, you got to know someone to get in. And that's the part that's really difficult for people because you can learn all the skill sets you can, you can watch YouTube videos, you can do this, you can do that. But really the emphasis is knowing the right people and how to apply what you know into a need that is needed. And so that's where SMWW comes in really well. Through the informational interviews, be able to get connected with people you may have never even thought about talking before, and being like, "Hey, we have a job actually coming up this next month. We'll let you know when it comes up." And now you have a reference inside the organization that already knows you ahead of time. So when your resume comes through their system, it's not some random resume, it's someone that they already know. So having that kind of relationship, building relationships is a foundation, and we'll show you how to do that through informational interviews and being able to access these industry experts like Alexa Klein and Jim Van Dam for the sports sales and marketing course. But we have GM, scouts, player personnel, you name it, we have it. And it's not just people with fancy degrees, it's people who are actually living and breathing this. So
And I gotta and then I gotta tell you, we get a lot of students that are, when they just complete an 8-week course, whether it be within sales and marketing, whether it be in sports media, whether it be in scouting or management, they always come back and they literally just graduated from a 4-year degree, and come back and say, hey, we learned so much more over the past 8 weeks than what we learned over the past 4 years. I'm not talking down on a college degree because I know it's extremely important. But like Alexa said earlier, they don't necessarily teach you the day-to-day operations of the actual job that you want to work in or position that you want to work in. So why not have somebody that's actually live and breathes and does the day-to-day operation of that particular job? You're going to learn a lot more. And because in college, they don't teach you what goes on behind closed doors in MLB organization, NFL organization, NBA organization, MLS organization, right? So, you have that upper hand. And a lot of times, obviously with some of the guys that are teaching our courses, having those guys on your resume, it goes a long way. It really goes a long way, guys.
yeah, absolutely. And if you're working, there's more jobs than just professional sports. I mean, colleges are turning into front offices as we see with the new NIL collective. And so, some of those stuff does need like, hey, you need to have some sort of master's degree in order to work at a college because sometimes they do have that, right, with universities. And that is where Mikhail alluded to earlier is that our partnership with CUC, where you can get a master's in sports leadership, an MBA in sports management, and a doctorate in sports leadership as well. And it's about a third of the price of what you'll find anywhere else. We'll waive your application fee. We'll even help you get through the system as we have working relationships with people inside CUC. So basically, your pending master's, pending doctorate, that opens up doors for you regardless. You don't even have to finish to even have opportunities so that you can be able to do it well. And the beauty of all of these programs, whether it's our relationship with CUC, Fort Hays State, or even our courses, it's all meant to do so that you don't have to jump ship and take a huge leap of faith and, have zero income and try to go after your dream to work in sports. You can do it while you have your day job. And that's where the flexibility with all these programs are for, because we understand that everyone needs to be able to make money to provide for themselves and their family, but also want to be able to get your dream job in sports.
Nick, Christopher had a question. How long is a doctorate program?
Yeah. So a doctorate program will take about, 3 to 4 years, depending on what your specific, how much you want to take. If you want to take a course at a time, they're all 8-week courses, like similar style to our courses. You can take multiple at a time. You can take one at a time, and that's kind of a flexibility based on how passionate you are and how quickly, or how you just want to continue to get it done. And like I said before, Dr. Loshberg always says, a penny doctorate opens doors because it shows that you're willing to have that initiative and that, if anyone's like, oh, where's your doctorate? Just get, well, a pending doctorate does have that say. Um, what type? So we have a PhD and an EDD as well, both of those as well. So you can choose from either one of those. And that's in the sports leadership. So Christopher, since it sounds like you're interested, we can send you some information about that as well and get you connected with someone that can be able to help provide more questions that you may have as well. Yeah, does anyone have any other questions?
Yeah, so mine would be kind of going back to my second question that I asked Alexa. So I want to ask you both as well. So when you're working in the sales department, you got goals. Like say you up against Vivid Seats, StubHub, Ticketmaster, those big brands like that, but you got a goal to meet either at the end of the year, the middle of the year, or whatever the goal may be. Um, most fans are buying their tickets off these StubHubs, Ticketmasters. So if you're a Yankee rep, are you getting out in the community and building these partnerships with local businesses, restaurants, church groups, youth leagues? But at the same time, how are you actually making your goals when you got everybody just going to Ticketmaster, StubHub, and getting their family tickets? Are they single tickets? Are they whole season tickets? Like, how do you not get fired for not meeting your goals when you up against people that just constantly buying Ticketmasters and StubHub?
Well, what Alexa said, they have a partnership with Ticketmaster, right? So whatever they're selling, it'll be, if they sell through Ticketmaster, right, there's going to be a cutback to the Yankees no matter what, right? Or MLB if you go through an MLB package. I've bought tickets. I bought World Series tickets through a third party and not through the dart because I couldn't get them at the dart because they were all sold out, right? So I had to buy it through a third party aftermarket, not really aftermarket, but through a third party. So basically, somebody else that bought tickets, they end up reselling them for a crazy price, unfortunately. And that's what you see, and that's what they go through Ticketmaster because you can purchase tickets clearance today, and you can send them through StubHub, you can send them through Game Time, you can send them through Vivid, right? So I think that's what initially a lot of these tickets they have to be pre-bought through the MLB or major or the Yankees. So they're going to hit their quota no matter what.
Yeah, and Clarence, also like for season ticket holders, obviously it's a little bit, you could do more for season ticket holders in order to retain them and in order to attract new ones as well. I mean, to go in through like perks, exclusive access to maybe some practices, players, and through that, obviously like team store stuff and, parking space. I know specifically in hockey, the Pittsburgh, you know, the Penguins, they actually have um their all-stars and their best players go deliver a special ticket season tickets package to each of the season ticket holders for the next year. And so this is way they show like personally like, hey, we appreciate your commitment to our organization. Here's a gift. And here's a token of appreciation. And having someone like Sidney Crosby come to your house to deliver season tickets, if you're a huge fan, like that would make it's just good customer service at the end of the day, and just trying to figure out ways to get butts into seats, motivate them through promotions. They have value days as well. I know Seattle does that a lot because there's a couple colleges up. So the Seattle Mariners, they have value day tickets, but it's only $10. And that gets people butts in seats and stuff like that. So you just got to come up with different strategies, and economy plays a role, but that's where you got to be able to be flexible on how you're presenting yourself, and then obviously knowing your market as well.
Yeah, because I know out here in Albuquerque, it's the Isotopes. There's no professional baseball team, so it's just Albuquerque Isotopes, baseball minor league squad, and
Right.
they do business with like grocery stores, car dealerships. I
Yep.
mean, mom and pop burger joints. You see the ticket scanner, like so they making deals with all type of local business here in Albuquerque as well.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
they and that's what they go out in the community, right? Like the Yankees as well. I seen it how they go into downtown New York, or how they actually do meet and greets, literally meet and greets for players, right? That's with soccer, that's with NFL. And again, does economy does play a role in it, especially in today's market. Um, and that's why having group sales or corporate events, those are fun to do with your company, or with your colleagues, right? But initially, Ticketmaster or StubHub, or they cannot just sell tickets without getting permission, so they have to buy in bulk as well from that particular MLB organization. So in terms of hitting the quota, I don't think that's going to be an issue. As long as the partnership and the percentage is done correctly, I don't see. And you just got to be creative, right? That's why you're sales guys.
Yeah, except
Yeah,
2020 where you can't sell tickets.
I
Yeah.
think my thing is I've came in contact with a lot of people that just got fired because they, I talk to different people and they say because they didn't make their goals. So I just always like to pick, people's brains on as far as the content of how you sell it and like what's the deadline and why it's not happening. I mean, I've talked to people, they say they tried their best. They went out, in the community, they went to, different places and try to do it. But at the end of the day, it's either layoff, either they didn't make their goals. So I always wondered, how and why that goes down that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's numerous factors that go to play. I mean, it's just sometimes it's just lack of execution, and that sometimes happens. If there's not a good plan in place. Same thing with you guys' careers, right? You have to have a plan in place for how you want to move up the chain. Sometimes it's just put your head down and work. Sometimes that's like, I'm gonna take a couple classes here. I'm gonna do my own projects. I mean, it's anything in life. If you don't have a plan. Now, it doesn't have to be the end all be all plan, because you got to be able to pivot and branch off based on the opportunities that's provided. It's the same thing there. Just you got to have a plan, at least a guidance, I should say, to move forward. So that's what I would say would be a good strategy for that.
Yeah, and for the record, I got two more things. I don't like that Dodgers hat. I need y'all to give me Freddie Freeman back.
Well, that's kind of a.
Don't you have Matt Olson?
I'd rather have Freddie Freeman back.
You want
That's
Freddie Freeman's bat?
Y'all stole him from me.
Oh man.
Dirty agent. Dirty agent.
yeah. Well,
There's a lot to be said about that agent. Not my business, but I'm not mad about it. You know,
Of
No,
course not.
I've witnessed the
Why would you
greatest.
be?
I've witnessed the greatest grand slam in baseball history. I was at Dodger Stadium, the 10th inning, when Freddie Freeman hit that grand slam against. Oh, Alexa's not here anymore. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Alexa's not here.
that was pretty epic. That was pretty epic.
Yeah. But thank you, Clarence, for your questions.
Yes, sir.
Does anyone else have any other questions? If not, well, thank you guys all for coming. Hopefully, you found some valuable information either from Dr. Lashbrook, Alexa Klein, Mikhail Suchi, or myself. Just know we're here to help. Just reach out. You know where to find us. You can call the office. There'll be someone in the office, most likely. You can email us. We'll get back to you. If you're interested in any, to further your career in sports, please go to smww.com, fill out a free application, and personally, a career advisor will reach out to you to see what your goals are and what may fit your needs to help you progress in your career or even get a kick started. But with that being said, as Dr. Lashbrook likes to say, go global or go home. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend or a good start to your weekend tomorrow.
Bye, guys.